Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 615. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today's show topic is grinding but not growing. Grinding but not growing. Now, you're working harder than ever, but your business isn't growing. Now, in this episode, I'm going to break down the truth about entrepreneurs that they really don't want to hear. Grinding does not guarantee growth. And we're going to discuss and dissect this today. And I'm also going to give you guys some actionable steps to help you move through this stage if you're stuck right here. Now, before we get to today's show content, let me just share a few things with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family, and please stick around until the end of today's broadcast. I'm going to share all my social media contact information and resource links such as getfundingready.com. Take this short quiz, find out if your business is ready to get that capital that you need to grow and expand. Go to getfundingready.com. It is a quick 60-second quiz that's going to give you some answers at the end. Now, let's jump into today's show content. So today we're going to talk about grinding but not growing. And I want to ask you guys a real question. Have you ever felt like you were working all the time, you were hustling, you were grinding, you were super busy, you're tired all the time, but your business really isn't going anywhere? So your income isn't where it should be, and your results really aren't matching your effort. So that means you're grinding, but technically you're not growing. So something might be a little bit different today, guys. Grinding might actually be the reason that you're stuck. Many times we talk about the hustle and the grind, but in all honesty, that may be the reason that's holding you back, because a lot of entrepreneurs think, oh man, if I just work harder, if I grind more, my business will grow. But that's not how it works, family. So today in this episode, we're going to break it down. So we're going to talk about why so many entrepreneurs stay stuck in the grind, the difference between grinding and actually growing, and what you really need to build a successful business. So we're going to dissect and discuss all of this. And at the end, I'm going to give you guys some actionable steps that you can follow. So if you as an entrepreneur have been putting in all that work and you're not seeing results, guys, this episode is for you. So make sure you share it with your network, your audience, the people closest to you or whatever, because this can be the difference of your business staying the same or growing and scaling. So I want to start off talking about why most entrepreneurs stay stuck. And before we talk about the solutions, guys, we have to talk about what the real problems are. And we have to dig deep, and we have to go inside and pull the different layers of the onion out so we can really understand what we're dealing with. Because most guys aren't stuck, or entrepreneurs aren't stuck because they're lazy. They're stuck because you're not focused on the right things. And sometimes we get this mysticism around entrepreneurship where, oh man, it's super mystical, but it's not. So we're going to break that down today. So let's talk about trap number one, and that's addiction to being busy. Trap number one is addiction to being busy. So a lot of people are addicted to being busy. They're doing busy work. You know, you got a calendar full of stuff you got to do, and you're doing something all day long, but none of it is actually producing results. So you could be doing stuff like answering emails, posting on social media, tweaking your website or whatever it needs to be done. But that's busy work. OK, so addiction to being busy. Now, I want to say this clearly. Just because you're busy, guys, doesn't mean you're building anything. All right. So a lot of people aren't building a business. They're really just completing a series of tasks. So if those tasks aren't formalized or going toward a specific goal, guess what? You're just staying busy. So that's trap number one. Trap number two, no clear direction. All right. Now, this is a big one, guys. No direction. You're doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You're throwing stuff up against the wall. You're seeing what sticks and you're trying everything, but you're not mastering anything. And so we have to think about that too. So what do they say? A jack of all trades, a master of none. You have to learn how to master something. And that something needs to be your marketing. So if you don't have a target, guys, every action basically feels like you're making progress, but you're basically moving in circles. You're hustling backwards, all right? So you have no clear direction. And that direction is what's going to take you to the steps that you need so you can move from point A to point B. So a lot of people don't have a clear direction. And because we have so much going on as an entrepreneur, we need to understand where the direction that we need to go in to move from point A to point B. Okay. Let's talk about real quick. Trap number 3, emotional decision making. And I've seen this happen a whole lot of times. I've known people that stayed in failing businesses and pretty much ruined their whole financial outlook because they were emotional about the situation. They weren't thinking rationally. It was all about emotions. So a lot of entrepreneurs move off of emotion, and one day you're motivated, guess what? And the next day you're not. You can't build a business, a successful, sustainable business based on emotion and how you feel. So sometimes you see something new and you jump on it, a new strategy, new idea, a new direction, the new shiny object, right? So you're emotionally involved in that. You watch a YouTube video and you see somebody talking about starting this business, and now all of a sudden you're going away from what you started to start something that you have no idea about, but it looks good and it's shining up there. So emotional decision making. So you have to stay focused. All right. So you never stay consistent long enough to see the results. And that's what happens with a lot of businesses. So for example, with this podcast, it's going on 12 plus years right now. And for the first year and a half, 2 years or whatever, it was a slow burn, but you have to stay consistent. And I wasn't making an emotional decision, just as I'm not right now. Every week right now for 615 weeks, you got a new episode from Black Entrepreneur Blueprint and Jay Jones. So it's not about the emotion. And there's weeks that I don't want to do the podcast. I'm tired, I'm traveling or whatever, but I know it can't be an emotional decision. So that's trap number 3. Trap number 1 was addiction to being busy. Trap number 2, no clear direction. Trap number 3 was emotional decision making. And trap number 4, avoiding the real work. We got to keep it real, guys. A lot of us stay busy doing the things that feel productive but aren't. Like, for example, watching videos, learning nonstop, trying to perfect things that don't even matter. So what do they call it? Paralysis by analysis. Because the real work, guys, is usually super uncomfortable. So some of the things that may be uncomfortable for you are like selling, following up, getting rejected, talking to real prospects, interacting. So instead of the grinding on the easy stuff, you need to basically make sure that you grind on the stuff that's harder. So grinding often becomes a distraction from the things that actually grow your business. And I know a lot of times that we try to stay away from things that we're uncomfortable doing. So I don't think anybody truly loves making sales, right? But there's ways to create the atmosphere where it's easier to sell. When you make somebody raise their hand and have an interest in what your product or service is, that's a totally different dynamic than you cold calling somebody trying to sell your product or service. The dynamic, the power shift is changed. When somebody calls you, hey, you called me. I put this information out. You called me. You have an interest in what I'm selling. So once again, guys, you have to understand number 4, avoiding the real work. And a lot of times that's because you feel uncomfortable doing the things that you really need to do to move your business. Trap number 6, no measurement. All right. How do you know how far you're getting if you don't measure, right? So most entrepreneurs, to be honest, guys, don't track much of nothing. You don't have any numbers. You don't have any data, no understanding of what's really working. And so when you don't have that, guys, you don't know where you're going. It's like you don't have your bearings. You don't have the coordinates. It's almost like being blindfolded, getting in the car in the back seat and somebody dropping you off, right? Versus you not having the blindfold on, seeing where you're going and having some type of understanding where you are and where you need to be to get back to home or whatever. So no measurement. So you're basically guessing. So if you don't track, guys, you don't know. And if you don't know, you can't grow, right? Oh, I need to put that in a verse or something. If you don't know, you can't grow. And that's true. If you don't know where you started from, then you don't know how to grow, or if you've grown or if you've gone backwards. So make sure that you understand and start measuring things. And the last trap, which is trap number 6, your identity is tied to the hustle. And this is a deep one. It's a psychological thing, guys. Some people don't actually want results. They want to feel like they're working hard. Everybody talks about hustling and grinding and all that. But because being busy feels productive, it feels like progress most of the time. But in all honesty, in the real world, you don't get paid for effort, guys. You get paid for the results. All right. You could bust your hump and still not make any money, or you could work smarter and not necessarily harder. So those are the 6 traps that you can fall into, that, grinding, you're thinking that you're grinding, doing something, and really you hustling backwards. So now that we've broken down why so many entrepreneurs stay stuck, let's talk about what grinding really is and why it's not the same as growing. So the illusion of grinding. So sometimes people have that illusion, grinding is an activity. You know what I mean? That's it. Grinding is just activity. All right. It's movement, it's effort, it's energy, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're growing. OK, the growing part that's the results. All right. And the problem is grinding feels like progress because you're tired, you're putting in the time and you're doing something. But let me ask you this. If you've been grinding for months or even years and your income hasn't changed, are you really growing? And the answer obviously is no. So know the difference between grinding and growing. So here's what grinding looks like. Posting every day with no strategy. How many of y'all do that? No strategy behind it. Taking calls with people who never buy. Been there, done that. Working all day with no consistent revenue. Been there, done that. Hey, guys, everything I'm talking about, I've made those same mistakes. All right. So that's not growth, guys. That's just motion. It's movement. And here's the key that I want you guys to remember. If your grind isn't producing measurable results, it's not growth. It's just activity. If your grind isn't producing measurable results, it's not growth. It's just activity. And we can't keep being active without producing results. That's what it's all about when you're an entrepreneur, guys. It's about producing results. I tell my wife all the time, she goes to work, she gets paid. She's an assistant principal at a middle school, right? So she could literally, and I know she doesn't, she busts her hump and works hard. She could literally go there and show up and get paid. I can't do that, So my thing is I have to be productive, okay? So I have to be able to produce results to make money. I just can't show up and come down here in my office, my home office, or go to my WeWork and just sit there and get paid. I get paid for results, not activity, none of that. So it's all a results business, guys. That's the bottom line for us. All right. So let's talk about the grinding versus growing, and let's make it real simple. So grinding is more reactive. It's random a lot of times. We'll get thrown off track by somebody calling us or answering an email, and we're super busy. It's also unstructured. It's time consuming, and it gives you unpredictable income, if any income at all. That's what grinding is, right? Reactive, it's random, it's unstructured, it's time consuming, and it's unpredictable income. Growing, on the other hand, is intentional, it's structured, it's focused, it's leveraged, and it has predictable results. So that's the difference. I'm going to repeat growing one more time. You guys need to lock this in. It's intentional, it's structured, it's focused, it's leveraged, and it has predictable results. So let me give you an analogy, guys, so you can basically lock this in. Grinding pretty much is like running on a treadmill. You're moving, you're sweating your ass off, you're working, but you literally aren't going anywhere. All right, that's grinding. Now, growing is like running with a destination in mind, right? So every step has a purpose and every move gets you closer to that destination. So that's what growing is. So now the real question becomes, if grinding isn't the answer, what actually creates the growth? So let's talk about this. This is actually what moves the needle from point A to B. Now, I forgot to mention this at the top of the show, but if you're driving in your car, you're working out, you're doing something where you cannot write the show notes down, make sure you go to the website, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, hit episode 615. It's the top episode if you go to there right now, but you can just hit episode 615 and the show notes, everything I'm talking about, any of the links or anything that are important will be in the show notes. So go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, episode number 615. So what actually do you need to grow? All right. So the first thing that you need, guys, is systems. So if you're doing everything manually, you don't have a business, you got a job pretty much. You need to systematize your business, and they don't have to be elaborate systems. Okay. But you need systems for lead generation. You need systems for follow-up. And you need systems for sales. Those are the three systems that you need. So if you don't have these systems in place, guys, you're not going to be able to grow and scale. And once again, they don't have to be crazy, complicated systems. OK, it could be something as simple as running a quiz funnel that can create leads. If you have it done right, it'll do automated follow-up. And also it can help you do the sales. So number one is systems, and this is what you actually need to grow and scale your business. Number two, a clear action plan. We talked about it before. You need to know who you serve, what you offer, and how you get clients. Because without that direction, guys, you're going to be grinding forever. You're just going to be in the grind mode. So once again, who you serve, what you offer, how you get clients. Now, it's funny because a lot of people tell me, I serve everybody. And guess what? And you serve everybody, you serve nobody, because you can't serve everybody. So who do you serve? And if you don't know, look at your current customer list and find out the commonalities that you have between all your customers. You may find out that you veered toward a specific type of avatar, specific type of customer. Okay. So it's funny. I teach mortgage. I have my own mortgage brokerage firm. But I teach a continuing education course for the mortgage industry. And I also teach some marketing for the mortgage industry. And so I was doing an event down I think I was in Charlotte, North Carolina a couple of weeks ago. And I was telling people, I said, who do you serve? And so people were coming back. I do everything. I do this, that, and the other. So with my mortgage business, I focus on 4 verticals: athletes, entertainers, entrepreneurs, and real estate investors. Now, I'm going to get ancillary business, first time home buyers, whatever, just because of the referral system that's set up. But my focus is on those 4 verticals. I understand them, I know them, and I have connections in those areas. And so those are my target avatars, and I have a boutique shop. I'm not out there trying to do 200 loans a month. So my shop is a boutique shop. It's me. I have a contract processor, and that's it. And my system's in place. I don't want 50 loan officers or 50 employees anymore. Been there, done that with my previous mortgage business. So once again, who do you serve? What do you offer? It's not about what you offer. It's about how you position what you offer. Everybody in the mortgage space pretty much has the access to all the same products and services. But how do you position yourself? I position myself as an advisor, as a consultant. I look at your mortgage as a piece of your financial portfolio, not just a standalone product. Okay. What do you offer? I offer advisory services. I offer consultations. How do you get clients, right? Most of my clients right now are referral business. Now, because it's very hard to market to athletes and entertainers, you have to have an in, right? And so I just happen to have contacts and relationships with people that work with athletes and entertainers, entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur. So there's tons of entrepreneurs out there. I have a lot of entrepreneur contacts and real estate investors. So I'm in that space too. So number 3, you need a clear action plan. You need to know who you serve, what you offer, and how you get clients. Because without that direction, guys, you're going to grind forever, and you're going to be, like I said in the last episode, like my coach said one time when we installed this new defense, and my boy Timmy didn't understand how to rotate. You're going to be, like a fart in a windstorm, right? You're going to be going all over the place because you have no direction. All right. So that's number 2. Number 1, in terms of what actually you need to grow your business and scale. Number 1, systems. Number 2, a clear action plan. Number 3, KPIs, your numbers. We need to track what matters. You would be surprised, guys. I do business coaching. Been coaching entrepreneurs for probably close to 20 years now. Been a serial entrepreneur for 25 plus. But when I ask people their numbers, a lot of times they can't answer it. How many leads did you generate today? How many conversations did you have? How many follow-ups did you have? That's on a daily. That's a daily KPI, right? Weekly, how many appointments or sales activity? I'm just giving you some examples. Monthly, what's your monthly revenue and your conversion rate? So what are your numbers? If you ever became a client of mine as a business consultant, these are some of the questions I'm going to ask you. So, and I've talked about this on multiple shows before, but my biggest KPI is not, when I wake up in the morning, it's not how much money is in my bank account. It's how many new leads have I put into one of my pipelines, in one of my databases. I have multiple businesses, so I have multiple databases. How many new people have come into my database? Because I know that's going to correlate directly with my income. So the more people, qualified leads I build that I put into my database, eventually that's going to turn into more revenue and more income. So number 3, KPIs. What are your numbers? You need to track your numbers daily, weekly, and monthly. All right. What gets measured, guys, gets improved. What doesn't get measured doesn't improve, because you don't know what's happening. You're totally out there in the cold. All right. Number 4. And we're talking about what you actually need to grow and scale your business now. Number 4 is leverage. You can't do everything yourself. So you're going to need automations, tools, and systems, because the truth is, guys, if your business depends on you, it's not scalable. You can only do but so much. You got 24 hours in a day, and you're probably sleeping at least 6 of those hours, right? So you got 18 hours left, and you got a whole lot of stuff you got to get done within those 18 hours. Personal stuff and business stuff. So if your business depends on you, guys, it's not scalable. So you have to leverage automation, tools, and systems. Number 5, a lead generation engine. And I say this all the time, guys. You're really not in the business that you think you're in. You're not in mortgages. You're not in coaching. You're not in insurance or whatever. You're in the lead generation business. Okay. No leads equals no sales equals no business. You are in the lead generation business. The difference between a $100,000 a year company and a $100 million a year company comes down to lead generation. Okay. Now, of course, there's more stuff involved in order to scale to that, but it's all based on generating qualified leads. If you don't have a qualified lead generation system, or a system that will generate qualified leads, you are never going to grow. I just used the example of my mortgage business. I sell the same products that any other mortgage broker can sell. But how do you position yourself to be that go-to person or that go-to company that people want to work with? That's all about lead generation. It's about positioning. Okay, so you have to understand what business you're in. Look at every competitor. I don't care what industry you're in. Every competitor pretty much in your industry can sell the same stuff that you're selling. Okay, if you're in the insurance industry, you're selling the same stuff, right? Mortgage business, same stuff. If you're a coach, you're probably selling some version of the same thing. How to get more leads, how to grow your business. Whatever it is. you're selling against people that are selling damn near the same thing as you are. So you have to understand how to be in the lead generation business, or that's the business that you're really in. And I told this story before. One of my good friends worked for me in my first mortgage company. And he used to carry around, this is back in the day before we had a lot of digital files. He used to carry around these 3 loan files all the time like they were his babies walking through the office. And the reason he was so stuck on these 3 loan files is because he didn't have anything else coming in the pipeline. So he was super hyper focused on these 3 loans. And anybody who's in the mortgage business knows if you got 3 loans, guess what? You're probably only going to close one. In those 30 days, you might close another one, but you're probably depending upon your client base, you're probably closing 40 to 50% of what you get in, because a lot of people get kicked out, during the process. Okay. So you have to understand you're in the lead generation business. Number 6, a feedback loop. All right. You got to understand, you got to track what works, cut what doesn't work, and double down on what produces. And how do you know that? You got to understand and get feedback. You have to track, okay? So that's how you grow. These are the things, guys, that you have to understand. And I'm going to go over these real quick again in order to actually grow your business. Number 1, you need systems. Number 2, you need a clear action plan. Number 3, KPIs, know your numbers. Number 4, you have to utilize leverage. Number 5, recognize and understand you're in the lead generation business. And number 6, you need a feedback loop. Okay? A feedback loop. You have to understand and track what's working. You cut what's not working, and you double down on what's producing. In this last segment, I'm going to give you guys an action plan to help you build a successful, sustainable business. But before I do that, guys, let me share all my social media contact information and resource links. So I mentioned at the top of the show, guys, if you need access to business funding, if you want to find out how close or how far you are away from business funding, go to getfundingready.com. It's a quick 60-second quiz. Answer a few questions, and it's going to spit out an answer for you, and it's going to help you get ready for funding. All right, getfundingready.com. Now, if you want to connect with me, guys, anything long, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, JAYJONES @blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. LinkedIn, connect with me there. Just go to LinkedIn, type in J Jones, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Instagram, I have 2 IG accounts. The first one is J Jones for Real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. Second one is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also, Twitter or X now, you can connect with me at JJones001, JAYJONES 001. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. I have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. So go to YouTube and type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also, wherever you're listening to the episode or watching this episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We drop a new episode every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on all your major podcast platforms and YouTube. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you'll be alerted. Now, let's get ready for the last segment of the show. So what do you do next after listening to this episode? So I'm going to give you guys a 5-step action plan. Super simple, but it's going to help you move the needle from point A to point B. All right. So if you're tired of grinding and ready to start growing, guys, here's what you need to do. Number 1, audit your time. Okay. Audit your time. Look at everything you're doing daily and ask, does this produce revenue? If not, cut it. Okay. Does this produce revenue? And if it's not producing revenue, cut it. See if you can farm it out or systematize it with AI or whatever you need to do. So does this produce revenue? So if you're going around cold calling or scraping lists, trying to find contacts to cold call or send out cold email, whatever, hire somebody to do that. Hire somebody to go and identify and target prospects for you. Okay. Then once you pay them, you have the information. Then you systematize cold outreach. Okay. So number 1, audit your time. All right. Look at everything you're doing daily and ask yourself, does this produce revenue? If not, cut it. Number 2, Build one system. All right. Not 5 systems, guys. One system. Focus on a lead generation or follow-up system. Lead generation system is your most important system. Everything else from leads is downhill. So focus on one thing. Build one system first. Step number 3, track 3 numbers. I want you to track these 3 numbers: your leads, your appointments, and your revenue. Your leads, which is number 1, your appointments, if you're doing appointments, and your revenue. Track these 3 numbers. That's step number 3. Step number 4, create a weekly growth plan. So schedule your revenue generating activities first. Schedule your revenue generating activities first. So you want to create a weekly growth plan. I always talk about time blocking. So you need to have time blocked off where you're focusing on one specific activity. So you could say, for example, from every Tuesday from 12 noon to 4 p.m., I'm focusing on generating new leads. Okay. And so what time blocking is, guys, it's where you hyper focus. Now, you can use time blocking for as long as you want. It could be for 45 minutes. It could be for an hour, whatever works for you, 2 hours. But you don't take other phone calls. You don't respond to emails. You don't respond to text messages or anything like that. Because what does that do? That puts you on the defensive. When you time block, you're focusing all your energies and resources on a specific task. And when you start reacting to things, that's what takes you off that task. Oh, you get an email in. You know what? Let me respond to the email. And you just wasted 5 minutes out of the 45 minutes. So time blocking, guys. So create a weekly growth plan and schedule your revenue generating activities first, and then everything else around that. Okay. Step number 5, you want to add leverage, automation, delegation, and tools. I kind of talked about that. Automate things. You want to delegate things. And you want to have the tools to make everything simple so you can leverage, because you don't grow by doing more, guys. You grow by actually doing better. Work smarter, not harder. OK, so those are the 5 steps for your action plan. Number 1, step 1, audit your time. Step 2, build one system, not 4 or 5 of them, and a lead generation system. If you don't have that, you're not in business anyway. That's the first one you want to build. Step number 3, track 3 numbers: your leads, your appointments, and your revenue. Step 4, create a weekly growth plan. Schedule your revenue generating activities first. You do that first because everything from revenue is downhill. And number 5, add leverage, automate, delegate, and use tools. All right. And because you don't grow by doing, guys, you grow by doing better, working smarter and not harder. So I want to leave you with this, guys. In terms of the grinding, I know in our community, I'm grinding, I'm hustling, I'm doing all that. So grinding makes you feel productive, but growing is actually what changes your life. So that's the real deal on that. Now, I say this each and every week, guys, because it's true. We get more and more downloads because of you, the BEB family, and I appreciate you guys so much. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast, the whole ecosystem, the online courses, the books, everything designed to help you move your business from point A to point B, to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Remember, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.